Hello and good afternoon. This is going to be a new session of teachings on the rapture. I had one of my subscribers ask me, is the rapture true? And so we're going to talk about that. And we may do more than just, I know that we're going to do more than one video. So just be patient, because there's a lot to have to bring out to help people understand that there is going to be a rapture. And that there's a difference between the rapture and the second coming of the Messiah, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to start off by reading in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, and in this particular chapter, starting at verse 13, and we'll read down to verse 18. This is when the Apostle Paul, or his actually real Hebrew name was Shaul, and where he reveals the mystery of the rapture. The rapture was actually even in the Old Testament, or the Tanakh, but you wouldn't know that by just unless you knew more and had more understanding of it through the New Testament. But in our sessions, we'll go and I'll point out to you where the rapture is actually revealed in the Tanakh and the Old Testament. One particular book is the book of Isaiah, or his real Hebrew name is Yahusha, is the prophet Isaiah's real name. But let me start reading in verse 13 here of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Let me first start off too, before I read these verses, mention that the word rapture you'll not find that in your normal English translations. And some people like to use that as saying that there is no such thing because it's not in the scriptures. Well, the word rapture actually is translated from the Greek word harpazo, and the meaning of the word actually means to be caught up, snatched away. And so when we're reading our English translations, understand that's what they are, English translations. And so the word harpazo, which is in the Greek, and then it was translated into the Latin, and the word there for say being caught up is the word rapio, and so that's where we get the word rapture. It's just a term that we use to describe this particular event. So what word you use does not matter. I could say harpazo and be accurate. I could say rapture and be accurate. I could say be caught up, because essentially that's what it says here. But let's start reading. Verse 13 says, Paul said, I would not have you to be ignorant. See, our Father Yahuwah does not want us to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep. And he's talking about those that have died before us. This is just a euphemism of the word die here, is the word asleep. But he said, I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that, of course your English translation says Jesus, but we know in Hebrew that his name is Yahusha, which reveals that our Creator, Yahuwah, is salvation. But anyway, let me continue reading. For if we believe that Jesus, or Yahusha, died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahusha will God, or Elohim, that's the word, a Hebrew word for God, Elohim will bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of Yahuwah. The word Lord there is there, but we know the word Lord is a substitution for the Hebrew name of our Creator, been substituted approximately 813 times, I believe, in the Old Testament, and over 200 times in the New Testament. But he says that, for if we believe that Yahusha died and rose again, even them also which sleep in Yahusha will God, or Elohim, bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of Yahuwah, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of Yahusha shall not prevent or go before them which are asleep. So what he's saying here, those that have died in Messiah, in other words, they are born again believers in the Mashiach, whether they be Jew or Gentile, but once they become a believer in Messiah, they become part of what we use the term as church. And we'll talk about that term later, because I know that that's a controversial term to some people. But there is a distinction. If you remember in Matthew chapter 16, Yahusha said that upon this rock, upon this revelation, was he going to build his church or his assembly. And he, of course, he was talking about the fact is that Peter recognized who Yahusha was in stating that he was the Mashiach, the one that the Father, and then Yahusha told him that flesh and blood did not reveal that to him, but his Father which is in heaven. So he says here, for this we say unto you that by the word of Yahuwah, that they which be are alive and remain unto the coming of Yahusha shall not go before them which are asleep or which have died. Verse 16, for Yahusha himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahuwah, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together. That's the rapture right here. We shall be caught up together with those that have died before us, and we shall be caught up to meet them, together with them in the clouds, to meet Yahusha in the air, and so shall we ever be with Yahuwah or Yahusha. And then he says in verse 18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. The message about the rapture is a very comforting message, especially if you understand that, and we'll get into this, that when this particular event is to happen or to take place, it's before the wrath of Yahuwah is poured out on the earth. We have not been appointed to wrath, Paul wrote about. He said, we have not been appointed to wrath, but to obtain salvation through Yahusha HaMashiach, the Messiah. So this event, the rapture, is a very comforting event, knowing that we will not have to be here to experience the 21 judgments as revealed in the book of Revelation that's going to be coming upon this earth. And so we're going to talk more about that, but I just want to sort of introduce this on this first session. And please listen out for the continuing videos that we'll be doing on this. And I know that this will encourage you. If you are truly born again by the Spirit, you know that you know that you know that you have been forgiven and that you're saved by the blood of Yahusha, and that Yahusha is Yahuwah manifest in the flesh. And we'll talk about that as well. So thank you for joining, and we'll pick this up on our next session. Until then, shalom.